the thesis. You'll be told all you need to know in good time.
I heard you and Mrs. M talking. And she couldn't make much sense of it, but then Alice doesn't know what a thesis is.
Yeah, but you do.
Yeah. So that's what you've been doing all this time. Studying us like laboratory animals.
No, Julie, I want to learn how you all think so I can understand you.
Then you should have been honest with us. You should have asked us if we minded, instead of pretending to care about us and lying and pretending to be our friend.
And if I had, would anyone have talked to me?
Well, I don't know. But that was our decision to make, not yours. You wanted us to trust you, well, we did. Not anymore.
Julie, I never lied to you. I swear.
Never lied. Never lied. What else has it been but one big lie?
No, I mean about...
Okay, now I wonder if I can find it. I'm sure I can. So I've had a particular image in my mind for quite a while now. And last night I was listening to Mr. Subaratz because I like Lindsay and Dave. I like listening to what Antonio says sometimes. But they was talking last night about seeing things differently, in particular the sun. I'm kind of calling him advert.
Morning again? Yes.
Well, anyway, that was the bit I wanted. Lindsay and Dave. I like these fellas a lot. Okay. I'm going to listen to this. But they was talking
Lindsay,
about,
you're breaking up again.
they was talking about the thinking about the sun, and I was doing the same thing for a little while now. Now, I'd like to try and draw it, but I don't know if I can. So I typed in this, okay, and in the end I came across this one. So this is who they are: John Lund, wedding ring, falling slow motion. Okay. Now, see it spinning. So you see the sun itself that we see is the point of contact as the ring of its energy spins. There you see, just the tiniest touches, I don't know, the roof of the dome. The energy above, we just can't see that. All we can see is the point of contact, and as it moves around the earth, that's what it's doing. Now, possibly, in some ways, I'm not sure, the moon is another ring doing a similar thing. I'd have to give more thought to that one. I mean, it could be just like a polar opposite of energies, you understand? And it's almost that perpetual motion thing. Let's hope it is perpetual motion and that one day it doesn't stand still or fall from the sky. Perhaps it needs to pick up momentum at some point. For myself, if there have been civilizations before and they have been destroyed by cataclysms, people should know about it. What should be left behind shouldn't be up to them. You understand? It should be up to all of us. I think the pyramid, in some ways, if it's what they say it is, then maybe it was left there for that reason, because it is for everyone. Some other things are not. From your perspective, standing in that reflection, you can't see any part of the above, you know? So, flipping back quickly to Prisoner, apart from the lice. I know what's coming up, even though I haven't got to that point yet.
To each other.
I'm sure you can guess already what's happening in this episode. It all started off with me thinking about the sun differently, trying to find an image in my mind of magician's rings, the interlinking rings, and find a perfect image I want for my mind's image of a spinning ring, a wedding ring, while there is a wedding in my program I've been watching. Like I said, sometimes I don't know what to make of it all. Sometimes I know it's just that this is forced boredom of lack of ideas. And this is why these ideas keep popping up everywhere and all over the place. Because people have got nothing new to talk about. There is nothing new under the sun, as they say. You understand? Perhaps the cataclysms that have happened before, maybe this time they think they can avoid it. Wouldn't that be a good idea? Wouldn't that be something to strive for, to fight for, to live for, to be for everyone? Maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's the trick, that there were ancient civilizations and this is what will bond us all together to prevent it happening again. Who knows what to trust anymore? I'll play that first clip again with this young man and the young female prisoner. Lied to us long enough, studied us long enough. They should have asked. Someone should have asked. Let's hope it's not slowing down. Maybe that's what all the chemtrails are about. Maybe they're trying to prevent it from stopping. In my history, the magician's rings, the magician's trick, to see what isn't there, to believe what isn't real. I hope I make a little bit of sense. The jumping ring. Maybe like a bolt of lightning. It will need a zap to restart. I don't know. Peace and love.
And this is my sort of interpretation of sort of trying to look into religion, if you like, as an overview. My interpretation is that God in the religions are really talking about the creator of light, in as much as the sun, the Christed light, if you like, or the God, or their God is the sun, which is.
And then this is where the sun conversation began. And then shortly afterwards,
the darkness, ether, the creator.
So this is at 2 hours 9 minutes.
The focus of the word God in many of the religions.
So I was listening to, I was shooting zombies last night.
Which by definition is, and so most of your religions, if you like, were created. That they were.
And then I'm sure in a minute Antonio goes on to say things like we have to think about things in a different way, you know?
Light, matter, gross matter, you know, and it gives life. So that's what they.
This is what I'm saying. Everyone thinks that the sun is a material object in the sky. Still, perhaps it's not a material object, but a ring of energy making contact with our environment.
And I was saying, look, we can't go around anthropomorphizing things. How, for instance, how would we anthropomorphize magnetism?
And funny in talking about anthropomorphizing things. I'm sure Antonio don't listen to what I'm saying, but this is what I've been talking about recently, and this is what I'm saying. That, you know, it's not about people stealing each other's ideas, but we're all being led back to similar conclusions and the same places. And for myself, it's because we've all been watching the same old stories for years and years and years and years. You know? Maybe that's what scares people, is the enclosed system, and that there may not be more except for what we can imagine. You know, and at the moment we're living in someone else's nightmare.
It's a mistake because we're not going to see things clearly. If the first person to study magnetism said, "Oh, I wonder if this makes a magnetism happy," then I don't think he would have got very far. No?
I mean, that's what I think. You know, that's almost what the Christian God, the Muslim God, has become. It's gravity with a face. In my little brown book, I've written it down somewhere. The God that they now use with these anthropomorphization began with one. Only takes one time to get pregnant. You only die once. It's quite easy to imagine a, say, three-sided shape, the triangle. A two-sided shape is somewhat more difficult. A one-sided shape is where the misrepresentation of the words came from. And it's not that you cannot draw an image of God, it's that you can't. You just can't draw a one-sided shape, and yet it did exist at one point in time. Only had to have once. One spark, one change of direction, one choice, and that one was anthropomorphized. That one was split into many. That one was then rejoined and split again, perhaps. All seen the image now of sperm penetrating the egg, then the egg magically splitting. For myself, I kind of think that that's the image of the earth in my mind, just in its singular area, is that first split block. And we are the divide. The earth is the divide in between those two areas. I'd love to hear some more from Dave. I do enjoy listening to Dave very much. I love listening to Lindsay. I spent quite a lot of time with them on the day we met at Oxford. I did not spend much time with Antonio. Got too wrapped up in his own things. I'm kind of enjoying these last few hangouts. Do like listening to Philip, Bubbles B62. And I like to listen to these long hangouts while I'm shooting zombies, or exploring worlds, or solving puzzles. I thank everyone for sharing their thoughts. Peace and love.